After 7 years of not having a Star Wars film in cinemas, we are being treated to The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, as a result of this, we're getting another Mandalorian and Grogu Hot Toys, so let's break it down, let's talk about it. Now, immediately, this is going to be a load of reuse, this is going to be an ungodly amount of reuse, but because of that, is the price going to be cheaper? No, but there's going to be a load of little extra bits, there's going to be a load of little tweaks, and the main thing we're looking at here is the finish of the armor, the different head sculpts, because whoo-wee, those head sculpts look stunning, and the new accessories that match the Mandalorian and Grogu film, like the gladius, the Roman style sword or Spartan style sword, why not? The extra armor that we saw in The Mandalorian Season 3, spoilers, and now in the film for Grogu, and the new pram, which is the deluxe version. We're going to speak about that mainly. If we're going to talk about the collector's edition though, we will talk about that only in terms of price. I'm looking at the deluxe version because that's got all the extra goodies including this glorious pram, and I imagine a different Grogu that makes him able to sit in it, just like they've done with previous versions. Now, speaking of previous versions, is this going to be a version that you want to pick up because it's in the Star Wars films? Or is this going to be a version you want to pick up because you haven't picked up the previously? Now, it feels like that they keep releasing new Mandalorian figures just to keep them in, like, production and service. I don't mind that, because I do have quite a few. I haven't even unboxed all the ones I have yet, but I will say this is looking stunning. I love the chrome finish on this, the electroplated finish, I should say, because the most recent one before this was chrome. This is electroplating, and I'm not going to lie, this looks metal. Now, I don't know how this finish is going to last. Is it going to be durable? Because as soon as you get a scratch on one of these bad boys, it kind of ruins the immersion. But speaking of the finish, the bluing on the Amban phase rifle, which, firstly, are we getting that back, or is this an attachment for his new rifle? Either way, we get both versions. We get the Amban phase rifle, which is an iconic piece. It adds to his silhouette. It's my favourite weapon for him. And you get his new rifle, which I don't think we've seen in the photos just yet, but it'll be coming up later, so don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, price for this heavy reuse figure until we see some more new bits. We'll get to that when the photos come up, because, good God, it's a pricey boy, but I've got to say, there is a lot of good stuff here to like about it. I will say I love the extra layer of texture on top of the display base. It doesn't take up too much space, it's a nice little addition. And it's a bit Star Warsy, I quite like it. This is the way. But as you're fully aware, this is a lot of reuse, like a lot of reuse. And a lot of fans are getting a little Pedro Pascal fatigue. I'm not. I could never be fatigued of Pedro Pascal. But the same lines up with The Mandalorian. A lot of people already have Mandalorian fatigue, which is a bit unfortunate because this is going to be the first Star Wars film in 7 years. And, well, first Star Wars film in cinemas in 7 years. And also, it's The Mandalorian. It's bloody incredible. Why are we fatigued? It's glorious. But I am a bit of a glazer. And speaking of glazer, look at this head sculpt. This head sculpt is glorious. Now, they've been pretty hit or miss with head sculpts recently, Hot Toys. But this one, I think's incredible. I can see Pedro. Now, whether you want to display your Mandalorian with a helmetless look, fully up to you. I love the option. And we see in the trailer, which, once again, spoiler, that he gets his helmet removed and has scenes with it off. So, why not? But also, just look at the texture, look at the hair. This is the most Pedro Pascal we've seen. So if you've been waiting to hold off until you get basically the penultimate, the premium Mandalorian, this is probably a one to go for. The electroplated finish, the new head sculpt, but also with a skin tone neck option. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like the Hot Toys, well, Sideshow Jango Fett, where it's permanently a skin textured neck, which they just cover it up with, which honestly, perfectly fine. Or if it is like a separate neck piece, like the Hot Toys, the Batman, that you swap out for a different neck. Who knows? I don't even think that's the one that has a swap out neck, but you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Now, is this worth it for you guys? I imagine. So on the Sideshow store, you can still buy previous versions of The Mandalorian. They are still up for sale, and a lot of people are saying that this is just another one to add to the list of peg warmer Mandalorians, which I think is insane, because I've essentially purchased all of them. which maybe I'm the problem. Actually, not even maybe, I am the problem. This was made for me. But as you can see here, now we are looking at the price. So this is in Queen's English. We're not going to say King's English, because, but no, this is in Queen's English. So 253 for the standard, 288 for the deluxe. So 30 extra quid, probably $45 extra for your Pram and a different Grogu. I imagine a lot of people are just going to get the collector's edition. With previous versions of The Mandalorian, the deluxe editions are selling out a lot slower than the collector's editions, which usually isn't the case, but for The Mandalorians it kind of is. People are just going for the Din Djarin look. I am a bit of a shill. I kind of want all of them, and I love the Prams. I don't know what it is. Could you put magnets in them instead of having the clear stud so it actually hovers? You could. That's probably gonna increase the price dramatically. I mean dramatically. What the hell is dramatically? Anyway, it's gonna raise the price. At this point, I'm just like, cool Pram, cool Yoda, cool Grogu, and cool Mando. I love how this looks, and that head sculpt is beyond incredible for me. But I will say that although I wouldn't say I'm feeling the Mandalorian fatigue at all, it is crazy how, like, you start with season 1 and it has like so much weathering, so much like love of the character, and over the progression of the seasons, the suit hasn't changed too much. There's different shoulder pauldrons, there's different leg armor, but other than like different accessories, his armor hasn't changed too much. You'd think it would be like either like different flight suits or like he'd start to paint it, but maybe that's a plot point of the actual film. Maybe it does, or maybe he just keeps this look. I will say though, I love it, and I do hope this is like me asking for like another 50 Mandalorians, but I do hope that we see other Mandalorians come out in the Hot Toys line. With this electroplating, I want to see how it looks on other Mandos. I want to see how, if you can like change the color of the electroplating so it's not just like a silver finish. I don't know how that would work, but imagine a Jango Fett with electroplating. I think that would be glorious. A Boba Fett with electroplating and then like weathered up. Ooh, it's a whole new world, a magical place. Now, are you going to purchase this figure? Is it worth it for you? Or are you just going to go back to previous Mandalorians? Because like I said, at least on the Sideshow website, there are still some available. Now, for me, this head sculpt is so much worth it. I think I'm paying the full price just for this alone. I love this Pedro Pascal head sculpt. It's probably one of the best ones they've done so far. The Last of Us one they did, I didn't mind, but it definitely felt off. This one, to me, I genuinely have zero flaws with. Rotating eyeballs. The hair is good. It's also, I like the look. I love how it looks. I'm hoping, just like with some of the Boba Fett figures and with some of the Mandalorian figures, the inside of the helmet is the sculpted, I suppose, so we can kind of like have some glam shots of like the underside of the helmet. I can make it work in photography. I can make it work, and I think this is the best Mandalorian you're going to get. And also, if you only collect from the Star Wars films to kind of like save on, instead of buying every single figure from every single line, if you're not a completionist. I'm not a completionist, but I am a completionist for Mando, sweet Mother Mary. Then this is probably the best one for you to get. Like I said, it's been 7 years since we've had a Star Wars film. How best to commemorate it than with a new Hot Toys figure? And hopefully we get some more in the line. Hopefully we get different types of Mandalorians, different accessory sets. We'll see what happens. It honestly depends how this is selling, and based on how it's selling, it's not too likely. But I'm loving these new accessories. I'm loving the new rifles. It's just beautiful. It's hard to say because it is a lot of reuse, and hopefully there's slight changes. So instead of using pleather on the belt and other like parts of him, that they go for sculpted plastic or they go for something else. Because we've seen on a lot of the Star Wars figures, they have a lot of pleather, which degrades over time. On my first version of the Beskar Mandalorian, it literally came with like ripped off pleather in sections, so it kind of looks frayed. I'm okay with that if I don't mess with it too much, but I mess with it a lot, so it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So hopefully with this one, there's improvements like this. But if there isn't, they're more likely to put it on the next one, because let's be honest, there is going to be a next one. But I'm loving how these Grogus look. I'm loving the armor plating on them. I'm loving to see the slow progression of Grogu, and I just need the film. We're not far away now, which is lucky. And I know I'm late to this figure because basically I looked at it and went, I will buy it, but it's so hard to make a video saying it's another Mandalorian, which it is, but it's worth it for me. I love this design. I do enjoy the season 1 suit a little bit more, and I think that's why I did the video on it first, even though I've had the Beskar suit longer. But I will pick this up, and don't worry, in like 4 years time, when I can be bothered to actually do a review on it, I will do a review on it. But it's just Pedro Pascal's just, gets me all giddy. Now, are you going to be watching the film in cinemas? I'm praying to Sweet Mother Mary that I'm able to, and it looks great. I don't know if they're going to change the bodysuit of this, like the fat suit underneath, the muscle padding to make him articulate a little bit more. We're going to have to see those changes over time. But for me, I am going to be buying this, but I can see a lot of people skipping out on this one, and we already have proof that a lot of people are skipping out on it. The fact that we have so many Mandalorians in a £288 price point for the deluxe version, that is really easy to understand why people are skipping out on it. But let me know your thoughts. Are you skipping out on it? Are you waiting closer towards the film time? Because a lot of collectors do that. Anyway, much love, guys. See you later.